Everyone, so today we're going to have a look at how to use the templates feature on the Traciwr dashboard. So we're just going to look at how we use the templates today. I'll be doing another video that shows you how to make the templates. As we know, the Traciwr dashboard is really flexible, so you can put in any data that you want and you can build templates that match what you want to look at. Now, I'm just going to look at how you use templates. It's really simple. From the main dashboard, you've got that option of template view. You simply click on that, and that will then load up the templates. Now, I've made all of these, and my colleagues have made some of these. So these are just all about how you create different templates within the system. So I've got loads of different ones. I've got a national test folder. I've got a national test progress folder. I've got some contextual templates that look at attendance and behaviour. I've got some AOLE ones, and I've even got some reading age stuff right at the bottom here. So this looks at my reading age. Now, all of this data, all of these templates are like handmade to match what I want to look at. So I'm just going to get back right up to the top. I'm going to look at this English reading one. So this is part of the national test. So this template has been built to accept one data capture. So this is just looking at one point in time, and it's looking at national test. So I click use this template. And once I've clicked use a template, I then get the option to select data captures. Now, I obviously have to select data captures that have got national test data in there. There's no point in me selecting a data capture that doesn't have national test data in there. That won't be any use with this template. So I'm looking, I've labelled all mine NT that have got national test data in. So I'm just going to pick my June 2022 one, just for an example. So I hit submit. That's going to load up the different basically all the charts based on the student data. And what we're going to do is I'm just going to have a quick look through a couple of these. One, just to give you a bit of an idea. I've got a chart here that gives me a bit of an overview of, like, how many students fall in the 85 to 105 category. All of those different bits. So, you can see information like that. If I scroll down, I've got all the students listed. Now, to make this a bit more usable, I might just want to look at one year group. So down the side here, I get loads of options. I can filter out school groups. I can filter out year groups, so let's just do that. Let's just grab just year 6. I can filter out form groups if I wanted a specific form group. I can filter out different classes, and I can filter out gender. So I could pick just boys, for example. So now I'm looking at year 6 boys. It tells me the filters I've got on. I'm going to take that male one off, so I'm just looking at year 6. So as you can see, for year 6, 9 students fall in the 85 to 105 section. 105 to 125 is 11, and 125 to 145 is 5 of them. So if I was to click on this here, it will then open up a little modal that will tell me who those students are, if that makes sense, and their scores, and I can export that as a PDF. So loads of this thing is like really interactive. So if I wanted to go a little bit further and say, oh, let's have a little bit, we've got Max there, I can see he's got 100, I want to click on him, it's going to load up his profile. If you're linked with your MIS, you'd have the attendance here, you've got things like that, you'd have a student picture, I've got the fact that he's in SEN, and I can see all the data that is in that data capture. So I can see what his attendance was, his behaviour. I can see things like his English reading, his procedural, his reasoning scores. I get it all as a little mini profile. And if I want to, I can actually go and add to that. So I can go and say, okay, I don't just want that information. I also want to pull through his national test in March, and I can put that in there as well. And then it's then going to give me a bit more information. As you can see, I'll make it show 10 rows at once, let's say. So as you can see, I've now got all of the information there showing from both his June 2022 and his June 2023. So that's really easy to do. I can export it as a PDF, so I get a nice little profile. As I say, if it was syncing from your MIS here, I'd have his up-to-date attendance scores. I'd have his, his photo in there and so on. So really easy to use. Gets it all in one place. So let's just go off that and back to our template. That was what we started with. I can see a bar chart here of all the different students. There's loads and loads of features on there here. I won't be able to hit all of them, but for example, if I didn't want a bar chart and I wanted to make it a line chart, let's say, I could do that. I'm not sure it really works in this case, but I can do that. I can make it a table, so I can just see the table of the scores if I prefer, rather than the bar chart. But let's just put it back to a bar chart. I can do things as well, like I can just change, like if this was something where the colours didn't really mean an awful lot, I can make it so they were all orange, if that makes sense. Well, it doesn't seem to work. Oh no, there's the toggle. So I can make it, so they're all orange if that made more sense. Take that off though, because the colours actually mean something there. And again, I can export this bar chart to a PDF, or I can export it to Excel. And also I can export the whole template, which will give me all of those charts all in one, all in one nice document. I've got loads of stuff on here that I've just created. I've gone and made like things like all the students have as a table. I've got like the average English reading score for students who are SEN. I've got it for people for looked after, those kind of different groups. That's what I've gone and created them as separate charts here. And then finally, I've started doing things like I've put, done like the English reading versus attendance. I can see as attendance having an effect on performance when it comes to things like English reading. So that all of that stuff there makes it really, really easy. These are just charts that I've made. These charts, if you watch my video on how to make charts, you'll see that you can make a real range of different charts. Depending on the information you look at, you can really start to look at things in detail. But these are just a few that I've made to show you. As I say, school groups, if you watch the video on how to use school groups, you'll see that you can make any sort of group that you want. I can make a literacy support group, I can make numerous support groups, and I can put things like SEN in, and free school meals, stuff that's nationally, statutory groups, that's what I should say. So that's just how to use a template. I'll just quickly show you, because I've got other templates in here. As you can see, that one was using one data capture. Now I might want to use two data captures. So I've got to look at this one, which is the progress in terms of national tests. So this is going to show me, compare the performance in one time to another time, and I'll be able to see things like the gaps and the progress made by students. Again, this is built from scratch. I've just made it from scratch. I click use a template. I pick two data captures. Obviously, again, stuff that has the relevant information in. So I could pick the national test June 2022, the national test March 2023. Hit submit on that. Let's just narrow it down again to one year group to keep things simple. Let's look at year 6. So again, I've got things like I can see, the age standardized score in procedural compared to age standardized score now. I can see that that's decreased. It will then show me the gaps. You can see for my gap, and I'll see it's completely fake data. Everything's gone down, and then I can look at individual student. A chart that will show all the individual students' graphs. So this is procedural, so I can see that this student's improved. Finley Andrews, he's improved, and I can see that this student's gone down significantly. Same principle. Click on that. It will show me the pupil information. There we go. So it loads up a pupil profile. So I can see all about, they can see that student had particularly low attendance. I can see the different performance in, things like behaviour and stuff that's pulled through in this data capture. Again, I can add in other data captures if I think that's beneficial. Again, I'm looking at the gap there for reading. I'm looking at the gap there for reasoning. I'm just doing this for the national test. I've still got the Welsh data in. I've got things like a transition matrix, so I can see, who was the. Again, these are quite marked changes because it's just my fake data, but who was in 110 to 125 range and is now in the 65 to 80 range. So these 4 students have all dropped into that range. And again, if I click on them, it'll load their profile. Really, really easy to use. I can look at the progress that students are making. I can identify students that have particularly dropped. I can identify students that have improved massively. It makes it really, really simple to use. And again, all these charts are just hand built to give me the information that I really want to see. You might not be interested in national test data. You might do this with a wellbeing survey. You might look at, this could be a wellbeing questionnaire that says, are you happy at school? What's the progress been made? Are pupils more happy or they're less happy? Could be anything that you're looking at here. You get that chart built how you want, for the data you want to look at. I think I've covered everything. It's really, really easy to use. You obviously have to pick the data captures that are relevant to the data. I've got things here like I've got a behaviour one that's just looking at behaviour, for example. Let's just look at January 2022. So this is just showing me, each student's, I've rated it outstanding, good, requires improvement or cause for concern. You can see who's outstanding, you can see who's cause for concern. Really, really easy to use. If you're external to that class, but you want to support that class, you can go in and quickly look at the data, find out loads of information about the student. And again, same principle, that student there, cause for concern, click on them, find out how they're doing in other areas. So this is looking at, I've got some AOLE data in here, how they're looking at across different AOLEs, just to demonstrate that you can look at this information in lots of different ways. And again, you can export all of this information, store it for later, share it with others, share it with the student. Great. I think that's everything on templates, so I'm going to leave it there. do watch about how you can build templates and you can build tiles. That's something that's available. It's something that you often have to request to be able to have access to, but it's something that you can carry out yourselves to build your own tiles and templates.